Well, we have got ourselves a gorgeous morning. Perfectly overcast, probably low 70s right now. It's supposed to get up to about mid 80s today. And I am finding lily pads. Haven't been back here since I did some catfishing last year. Unfortunately, even though I have the trolling motor on the front of the old kayak here, my remote's dead. So I paddled out a little ways before I tried dropping it down, and I'm far enough away that I really don't feel like bothering going back and taking everything off. So I am paddling with extra weight today, so resistance training, what can I say? But tide is coming in right now. It's very, very low. As you can see, everything is super, super low. The hydrilla is sticking out of the water here. And I am going to paddle probably about a mile to get where I'm going, because I want to explore a new cut back here that I've never been down, because I'm going to be flinging frogs today. Brought a couple other baits with me, but I primarily feel like flinging frogs today because I want to get a big old bass or a big old snakehead on a frog today. That is the general idea. But before I get too much farther into it, I want to say, hey there, how's it going? My name's Adam. This is Go To Outdoors. And as always, I am super happy to have you with me today. So let's go ahead and do some exploring. Let's get into it and bring it back when I see something cool. It looks like we got a couple other guys this morning out on kayaks doing some exploring and fishing. They are not with me today. I am out on a solo mission, but it's good to see everybody out on the water today. It's a beautiful Wednesday morning. Original plan for every day off right this time of year was to try and do a little bit of crabbing, but unfortunately on Wednesdays in this state you can't do any crabbing. So Wednesdays in Maryland are kind of a, so it's like, all right, decide what you're gonna do, go ahead and pick something and go fishing for it. So that's what we're gonna do. Beautiful little breeze going. Shouldn't be too much of an issue today. There's always the threat of thunderstorms. Like for the next 2 weeks there's threats of thunderstorms, so that's kind of doo-doo balls. But for the most part, it's just gonna be a time of relaxation. So I'm gonna start throwing today is the Berkeley Swamp Lord popper. Let's see what she'll do. I trimmed the legs down a little bit because I don't like them super long. To me it feels like you're kind of killing the action a little bit. I do have a couple other frogs with me that I'm gonna switch to, because popping frogs unfortunately don't work on top of the hydrilla mats like this. Probably shad right here. Yep, that was definitely a shad. See it skip along the top and doing their thing. This particular part of the Potomac River and its tributaries are positively loaded with gizzard shad and threadfins, but the big gizzard shad are what really get your attention out here. Lots of little bluegills and stuff too, so there is plenty of forage for both the snakeheads and the bass, which is why I'm sure recently a lot of you guys have watched the pro tournaments on the Potomac River. There were some mondos caught, big bags, and they just love to pack themselves into this nonsense. They just park it in the thick stuff, which is where I want to find them. The reason I like this popping frog is because it's got a good spit to it. Real good spit. You just have to give it a little twitch and it'll do its thing. But I also have a setup I don't usually bring out, because I don't usually throw dedicated frogs. I'm usually throwing my goats, or I'm throwing any number of things really. But what I want to do is really teach myself the ins and the outs of frog fishing, which is also why I decided to come here today as opposed to anywhere else. Not only because all the three places I typically fish for snakeheads, all three rivers, James River, the Patuxent River, and of course the mighty Rappahannock, all had punamis hit them. They all had sewage spills last week. So that is quite literally doo-doo balls, a couple wood ducks, and I am not putting my kayak into human poop. Hey damselfly, how you doing? So yeah, that's why I'm not down there today, and that's why I'm here, which is all good because I like this spot too. Actually, on this rod I have my fastest speed reel. It's an 8.5 to 1, so if I make a bomber cast out there and there's nothing, I can reel it in super fast and take another swing at them. But right along these edges here, that's where I really like to focus on snakeheads and bass. Edges of everything, you know, weed line. You can see. Case in point, ladies and gentlemen. And I was just thinking about making a cast right there too. Son of a gun. Yep, that was something eating all of these little whatever's in here. That was a little predation event. That was carp up there, carp or a gar. Because I'm floating over inches of water here, right above the hydrilla. There'll be a lot of casting for not necessarily a whole lot of gain, but we are going to be putting in the work today regardless. Sometimes that's what you got to do. This is a place I'm not super familiar with, the whole snakehead game over here. Obviously, I know what I look for. I look for pad fields, I look for hydrilla. You guys have seen it in literally every one of my snakehead fishing videos. You know, there's a pattern that I like to target. And this launch that I came to today has acres and acres and acres of the good stuff. The good stuff indeed. This hydrilla, this looks awesome in here, but also goes out a fair ways, so oh, he's up there. Lily's in my vest pocket. You don't need no DC reels. That's probably a gar right there. I don't know. Sitting on top of the pads like that, that might have been a snaky snake. Yeah, those are sunfish. Little baby sunfish move like that. You know, I do still have the old standby with me as well. There's probably a snake back there. I'm trying to keep right along this edge. I think the edges and pockets are going to be the key today. When you find pad fields this expansive, there's something moving in the pads over there. When you find pad fields this expansive, and when I say expansive, I mean literal hundreds of acres, you have to narrow it down. You have to pick the spots you're going to try and target, because otherwise you're just going to be wasting your time. You're going to get frustrated and you're not going to want to fish any of this nonsense. Carp. So, because if you try and pick everything, I mean, you gotta look at all this stuff. You're going to see pockets, you're going to see pads, you're going to see gaps. If you don't look for those things, you're going to just see all of it. You know, huge mess of everything. And you're going to try and fish all of it, and you're going to get frustrated because you're not targeting high percentage areas, and you're not going to have a good chance at, you know, tagging a big snake or bass or whatever you're after, because you're just going to get frustrated. You're just going to not have the proper attitude if you go literal hours without even getting a sniff of anything. So, how do you eat an elephant, ladies and gentlemen? One bite at a time. So if you're going to take a bite, make that bite count. Target those high percentage areas, spots where you're likely to see something. Whew. stinks back here. This hydrilla is smelly. But even if you could see pockets inside of the hydrilla, it's overcast today, which is awesome. And if it stays like this, there's a good chance that the topwater bite will work all day long. If it doesn't, like I said, I got some other lures with me. I don't plan on fishing too many other techniques, but if I need to, if it gets deep and things get crappy, I'll chuck something else. But yeah, if you guys go back on my Instagram, you'll see from last year, there's a spot where I'm just paddling along. Hey, how you doing, Damselfly? Where there's like this kind of stuff, super thick, super clumped up hydrilla, and I paddled right up to a snakehead. Its head was buried in the weeds, so it didn't see me or it didn't seem to care. But I sat there and I watched it. It was like literally right there. I sat there and watched it for probably 5 or 6 minutes while I was casting the other directions before it finally decided to move off. And it started moving off just as I got the idea to try and free net the darn thing. Of course, that didn't work. So all I scooped up was a huge, massive hydrilla. But, you know, sometimes you gotta try, you gotta try. These weed edges look crispy. There's probably something in there just now. Something moving the weeds in there. You know, when the tide comes up a bit, I'm gonna get back up on these edges, just, you know, belly to the dirt, like these fish are probably sitting. The clarity in the hydrilla is awesome. The clarity outside of here, not so much. That was another big old carp. This stuff right here, that's probably 35, 40 acres worth of hydrilla. Yep, first fish of the day. First fish of the day. Little largie. Come on, buddy. Oh, he's got sores on him. Now he's bleeding on me. That's disgusting. Come on, fish, cut it out. Stop it. I'm trying to help you, you little punk. So, first fish of the day. We're a little one pounder, maybe a pounder. I don't even think he's a pound. But he's healthy, apart from that sore in his fin. Other side looks good, but there you go. First fish in the morning. Thanks for the fight, buddy. Thanks for the bite. Had a feeling there was gonna be one right along this edge, because it gets deeper here. It's not like every other spot around here where it's really, really shallow. It did definitely get deeper here. But we're on the board. We are on the board. Just came right up behind it and slurped it. Nothing big, nothing fancy. That was such a gentle slurp. I knew for a fact that wasn't going to be a snakehead. That damselfly that's on my hat right in front of me. Go away. Stop it. You've seen better days. You're tired. I got a fish. Sorry, buddy. Yeah, I'm gonna get tired after today. I know that. A lot of paddling through all this stuff today. That was a big old snakehead back there. Big pop. Big explosion. This is all super shallow back here. Well, shallow with weeds. Oh, how shallow is it? Oh, that's probably about 4 foot. No. Probably a little bit less than 3, actually. It's usually about the depth you're going to be seeing this particular kind of lily. Super shallow like that. It's probably a gar. On the frog. Big bass, big bass. Nice bass. Nice bass on a frog. All right. It's a nice fish. On the frog. Just slurp it up. Probably should connect that to my seat so I don't lose either one of those, but kind of skinny. But it was good fish, and that was a heck of a bite. We'll take it though. We'll take it. On the board. That was a massive blow up. That was huge. All right, on the board number 2. Longer fish, but skinny. That would probably be a 4-pounder if he was better fed, but we'll take it. Thanks for the bite, buddy. Thanks for the bite. Swam off healthy. And the frog, no worse for the wear. He gulped that sucker. Gulped it. You see this ripply stuff that's on the water? That's why I decided to go with the popping frog today. Give a little bit more attraction when there's ripples on the surface. I probably just spooked a sunfish or something there. It wasn't very big. It's something else for the bass to key in on, or the snakeheads to key in on. And remember, always finish that retrieve. Because you can have a frog just sitting in the water right next to the kayak, and you'll get hit like Tim did last week. Put his rod down for a second. Probably a 24, 25-inch snakehead just smoked it as it was sitting in the water right in front of his kayak. Just absolutely smoked it. I do have the catch board on the side of the kayak, and I got a scale with me today because I know there's an awesome sized fish just hiding in here somewhere. I just have that feeling. Something hungry back there. Catch this thing a mile. So that really goes all the way out to there. So I'm just paddling over super shallow nonsense right now, which is okay. Like I said, I've been blind casting over stuff like this, and I've caught snakeheads on buzz baits and top waters. I hope that wasn't thunder. That sounds like thunder. I don't like that. I got 5 other lightning rods sticking up behind me. That's definitely thunder. I don't like that. That's not awesome. This day may be cut short. I know I'm kind of anal retentive on how the skirts on my frogs lay, and also how long they are. Does it make much of a difference? I couldn't tell you, but I'm still very particular about it. Oh, this thing casts like a dream. It's a heavy frog, but it floats really high in the water. These reels might need to get retired. Those reels have put in work over the last several years. A lot of work. Ah, I pulled it away from him. I pulled it away from him. That would have been a fish. Dang, the nabbit. The pocket over there looks good too. I'm gonna hit that on the way back. He probably came right out of this stuff to follow this frog. Cover in this cut does not look very promising. Super, super shallow here. Choked off with weeds. Well, we're gonna do some exploring anyway. On the satellite, this place looked freaking awesome. And I mean awesome. But I can already tell being here that the satellite imagery is probably old, because the vegetation looked very different on the photos. Like I was expecting some of this. Hello, heron. You're a pretty one. I was expecting a lot more pads and a lot less of this pickerelweed. I was expecting it to be a bit less choked off, because this is pretty choked off, to be honest. I may have to go way farther back behind me, because all this looks great. Like all this stuff looks fantastic up here, but it's so shallow. Like this hydrilla is just a couple inches below the surface, but it's still shallow enough that it's slowing me down on my paddling. I'm dragging my pedal through it with every stroke. Yep. But all this looks so good. But probably a month and a half ago, this would have been mint, because of all the stuff that's here. Like all this once this hydrilla comes up, it really clears up the water. I mean, this part I'm not kicking up too much silt off of the weeds, but on the other side, on the outside bend, I mean, you can see from right here, part where it's windier, it's a notable different shade of water, because it's just so much dirtier with the silt that rolls through, because this area is tidal. But here, because there is so much vegetation, so much hydrilla, or coontail, or milfoil, I don't know what, I can never tell the difference. I really need to look into that. But there's so much of it here that it stays clean, relatively speaking. Hello, heron. It's a beautiful day though. The breeze is great. It's not gonna be the most fun paddling back into it, but right now it feels great. It do be feeling nice. Well, I'm gonna keep going up around the bend over here. You see, when I'm kicking up this one, there's a lot more silty nonsense coming off of it, so it's definitely doing its job. You can see, like, it's dirtier in here than it is over there. Man, that heron keeps staring at me. I'm gonna take a fish here after. I want bigger fish than that, buddy. Time to go on down the bend. We're gonna see where we can get to. I'm gonna go as far back as I can in here today, and we're gonna see what we can see. Yeah, so I'm back in the, I'm not gonna say main channel, but I'm definitely in the channel. And you can see there's a distinct difference in the watercolor just 15 feet away from me, where the hydrilla starts really filtering everything out. So kind of stained, maybe about 18 inches of visibility, give or take, on my right hand side. And there's definitely swirls of like puffy mud and whatnot. There might be a foot of visibility, actually. That's not 18 inches. What kind of feather is that? Is it a cardinal? It's red, probably a cardinal feather. Come on, I want to pick it up. I want to pick it up. There, I got it. Huh, I think that's cardinal feather. That's pretty. I'm gonna save you for later. Boop. Neat. You never know what you're gonna find out here. Right after I put on the goat. Right after I picked up the goat. That hook was in there. A healthy little fish. Well, I had to swap batteries right in the middle of that. But there's another fish, fish number 3 on the day. About 13 and a half inches or so. I'm not even going to bother measuring it, but they're healthy fish, and 2 casts after I pick up the goat. Just smoked it. But there's another one. Thanks for the fight, buddy. See you soon. Happy, healthy, ready to go for another one. Goat strikes again. Back in the schlop. No snakeheads so far. Just decent bass. But a buzzbait would crush in here right now with the way these bass have been hitting the goat. That was a snakehead. That was a snakehead, 100%. He missed it. He sucked it in, but he missed it. That was a snakehead. I guarantee you that. I knew it was gummed up on the cast for that one. Alright, fish are still biting. That's a good sign. That second hit, 100% was a snakehead. Dang, nabbit. Dang nabbit. That's a darn snakehead. I missed him. He missed the first one, he missed the second time, and I swung on nothing. Oh, that irks me. You're better than that, Adam. Come on now. Well, I need to switch out goats anyway. This one's starting to get pretty beat up and won't even stay on place. I'll cut the end off, use it as a jig trailer later. That might be the play later. But for right now, gonna keep chucking a goat. That's what they want. What they want. Forgot to rip the tails. And it's all wadded up on itself. Dang it, this thing's being less than stupendous. Rip the tails. Get it seated. There we go, that's better. And that was not me paddling. Something just spooked from right there. Darn it. Darn it, darn it, darn it. But if they want the goat, I will throw the goat. I was really trying to get some frog action today though. But they want little buzz goat. They're much more in a chasing mood than I thought they'd be today with this weather. God. 2 confirmed fish and 1 heck of a good miss on that goat so far, and only 1 hit. And you know, granted the biggest fish of the day came on the frog, but I'm not above switching up to see what the fish want. I'm not doing a challenge. One of these days I'm going to do a challenge video for myself where all I throw is 1 lure all day long, or 1 style of lure, you know, whether it's a swim jig, chatterbait, spinnerbait, frog. If they're gonna hit in this shallow stuff, I gotta get real shallow today. And the tide's definitely coming up, so they're moving out of the shallow stuff into more feeding areas. Probably because it's so stained right now, they need the sound in order to really key in on it. I should say constant sound, because the popping frog's making sound, but this is making constant sound. This thing does not want to stay pinned. I'm going to chuck the goat around for a little while in here. Because it just works, man. It works far better than it has any reason to. Hello, butterfly. And yes, I've had them blow it up right at the kayak. bass. Oh, that's a pretty good bass. Pretty good bass. It's got a little melanistic mark on him. Almost jumped right into my hand, didn't you? Well, no, he's pooping out a crawdad claw. All right, come on, finish your turd. There you go. I know what he's been eating. That was pretty funny. That was pretty funny. Another bass. Got a sore on him. Outside, he's got a little melanin mark on that side. But he hit it like a truck. A healthy little fish. All right, buddy. Thanks for the fight. You get back out there. And a show. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. On the goat. That one was definitely big enough to eat a frog if I'd thrown that. So that's 4 bass on the day and 1 missed snakehead. What in the world? I don't know what that was. Alright, this particular bag of goats does not like to stay pinned. That's troublesome. Outside edges have been the most producers right now. With the exception of that snakehead hit. Outside edges. Shad just flipped in there. We're just in the cover and water game now. Eagle. It's a young eagle. Beautiful bird though. Oh, he just kicked an adult off that roost over there. That was pretty cool. Didn't have a good enough angle. My neck doesn't turn like an owl, so I couldn't show it to you, but I saw it out of the corner of my eye. And those are just an immature bald eagle, and there's an adult that was behind me. Don't know where that one's going to go off to, but it made way for the little guy. I say little guy, it's immature. It was definitely a big eagle though. How shallow do I need to go today? Do I need to go all the way up over there? I think I'm going to go all the way up over there. Yep, it landed up in that tree. Of course, it doesn't have any white on them, so you can't see them, but that dead tree, that dead oak right there, it's up there on the outside branch. Whew, it smells like fish back here. Like fish spawn, like shad spawn. It's kind of a nasty fishy smell. Not a pleasant scent. There's something behind it. Float up, float up, float up. I think I just had something behind it. I'll throw it back in there one more time. Yeah, it's definitely tide's coming up real good now. Plenty of places for these fish to hide. Water's super clear back here because all the hydrilla. This looks like I'm on an entirely different stretch of water, but I'm only 50 yards, maybe 100 yards from the main river channel. This is ridiculous here. Kingfisher. They're some of the most successful hunters They really are. Cool little birds, pretty little birds. Yep, let's head back to that outside edge. That seems to be the ticket today. I think the murkier water they like because it gives them cover to ambush things. That's how my logic takes me. Back there, super clear, and that's 75 yards away. Out here, real murky. These little bends have super slow current, and it allows the hydrilla to trap all the silt, and the silt just settles. So the water's super clear. It's this channel out here that tends to be muddy, because I know we've had a lot of rain come through last few days. And that rain has really boogered up all the creeks and streams and stuff around where I live. Of course, I live in Virginia, as y'all know, Northern Virginia. And now I'm currently over in Maryland. And this side seems to have gotten kind of hammered, not gonna lie. Really hammered by the storms we've had recently. But it's handling all the weather really well. Oh, that paddle back's not going to be fun. Paddling into the wind is never awesome. Like I said, I got all this extra 50 pounds worth of crap on the kayak today with the motor and the 2 batteries. So, the things we do for the things we love. Paddle, 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 paddle. Lots of paddling today. Wonder if my sunscreen was broken, because I don't feel like it's doing much for me today. Oh yeah, came back for it. He came back for it. All right, another one that has a nasty mark on him. Looks like something got him. He came back for it. Skinny fish. These fish are not super healthy, and he's been caught before. Recently, it looks like. But yeah, he was so hungry he came back for it. But the sores, the general skinny nature of these fish, I mean, these fish should be, 4-pounders, but they're not. They're skinny. And it looks like an osprey or something got a hold of him, but thanks for the fight, buddy. I hope you feel better. We'll see you soon. Later, fishy. I was really hoping that was a snakehead. Not mad though. Not mad. A fish is a fish. But a bass missing, that does not happen too often. Not in my opinion. Not in my experience, I should say. But the goat strikes again. Outside edge. Either one of these fish should be bigger. They got big heads and skinny bodies, which means they're just kind of scraping by. But there's got to be plenty of food in here. The number of shad and everything that I'm seeing, like constantly. It just doesn't make sense that these fish are so skinny, and all of them are. Like, even that first one I caught, the little guy, he was skinny. All skinny fish. And they stink. Bass usually smell a lot cleaner than that. But yeah, the way that fish missed and then came back and hit again, I was almost certain that would be a snakehead, but alas, it was not to be. It should be an otherwise decent fishery, except again, I know people say there's a lot of snakeheads in here, and I know I've missed at least one for sure. 100% I know I missed one, but everything else, the signs just aren't there. Like the constant blow-ups I usually get when I'm fishing out of the Rappahannock, or even at the Occoquan Reservoir, which is only a little ways upstream from here on the Potomac. It's a pretty white swallowtail. Huh. That was cool. Like it's almost blue. Maybe it's just my glasses playing a trick on me, but that was a pretty swallowtail. It really is. Nice. Pretty. Butterfly's back. I don't think I've ever seen one that's pure white like that. That's pretty cool. Usually see them a tinge of yellow to it. Yeah, that's pretty cool though. I thought I felt tension. That's the only reason I swung on that one. I got a good chance to get him back though. That was a bass, and he didn't feel it. I get your heart racing every time. Ah, I felt it. I felt him. You probably saw my rod tip jump. That's a little fish. That is a little fish, but he's still hungry. That is a tiny fish. Grabbed it, pulled it down, and gave me a little two tapper. Well, that's probably why I missed him. It wasn't big enough to get it broken free of the body. Dang. Well, let's try again. Maybe he'll come back one more time. That fish wouldn't have even tried to take a swipe at a frog. It was way too small. Nothing like the smell of rotting lily. That is ripe. That is really ripe. Oh, how the mosquitoes bothering me, A, in midday, and B, with this breeze, because this breeze is a couple miles an hour. Hey, Osprey. How you doing, buddy? Haven't seen you all day. Oh. Something was just right here. Hey, damselfly. Sounds like the world's angriest lawnmower somewhere across the river. You see those videos where somebody like soups up a tractor, just make it a racing tractor, just do all kinds of wild crap to it. That's what that motor sounds like. Problem is, I know there's snakehead in here, but this is also a very, very popular spot for people to come and bow fish for them. So snakeheads are typically smaller when they're here. The ones that I've actually seen personally. I've never fished for them here, but I've seen plenty. I know they do a couple snakehead kayak tournaments in here from time to time as well. Here, the Gunpowder River, a couple other spots. The only action I've had all day has been on outside bends, so that's where we're going. Even the blue cat I had hit a popping frog last week, and I was fishing for catfish here last year, and I pulled up a blue cat that had a full size, it was a Z-Man swim jig with like a 5-inch Kitech on it, still stuck in its throat. I'm apt to catch blue cats before I catch snakeheads here. This is a stretch that I typically hit. It's because it's a pinch point. I probably paddled over hundreds of them today. This tributary is loaded with, you know, come to think of it, that's probably why some of these bass are so darn skinny. Because they're just getting out competed by the blue cats. It's a distinct possibility. Oh jeez. Probably just spooked a snaky snake right there. If it gets cloudy again, I'll have a better chance of getting topwater. The sun being out is not helpful. Keep all your trimmings, don't throw it away. There, that looks great now. I've always thought the legs that come standard on frogs are just too long. Oh, this, look, you see that snakehead? That was 100% a snakehead. That was wild. I just spooked it and it just dolphined out of the water. Oh, that was a good 28, 30 incher. Son of a gun. Yeah, that was just a spook. He didn't take a swipe at my lure. I just spooked him with it. Dang. He would have had no problem munching this frog. That was a good sized snakehead. That was wild. That's only the second one I've seen come out of the water like that when I spooked it. This thing cast a mile. That was a good fish. For sure. Remember how I said I've gotten eyes on them in here before? Yep. I've gotten eyes on several of them now. Can't freaking catch them for some reason. Oh yeah. Still not a snake. Still not a snake. Another bass with a sore on it. I don't want to grab him on his body because that's just nasty. You know what? Stop it. Stop it. He got sores on both sides, almost like he was run through. Yeah. On that side, that's nasty. It almost looks like he was shot. Well, that's a talon mark from an osprey. His tail's bloody as all get out. Is he getting ready to spawn again? I don't know. Well, I'll take a picture of this fish from the prettier side, which, hell, I don't know which side is prettier. They both look kind of rough. Oh, I guess I'm not. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for the fight. Yeah, these fish are not the most healthy in here. That's kind of unfortunate. I don't like seeing that. But they still got the spirit. I'm still hitting topwater. So there's that. That's 6 fish on the day. Go! Fish bit it and I wasn't even looking, paying attention. I just felt the tug. Dang it. Felt it and spit it. That was probably a snake. Yep, he pushed it through a little bit. Man, what is causing these fish to wake up right now? I just heard something move. I think it was back over there. It was back in there. Let out and pay attention. Oh yeah, that's a good fish. That's a good fish. Another bass. He hit it hard. He hit it real hard. That's actually the healthiest looking fish that I've seen all day. 7 fish. Nope. Nope, 7 fish. So I can get the bass. Where are my snakeheads? Dang it. Where are my snaky snakes? Other than that one that was over there, where are my snakeheads? The bass are picking up. Why are they waking up right now? I mean, I thought it was flat tide right now. Like, I don't think any tide is actually moving. I think it's just high tide. It's just because now they can get into places and feed, or what? Like, what's going on? Either way, we're having fun. We're having fun. Yeah, that last fish looked healthy. That was the first one that's actually looked really good. But of course I didn't get a picture of him because he was nice and spunky and wanted to go back home. Got that wind elemental trolling motor right now. Get me where I need to go. Wadded me up. Probably another little bass. Something's causing them to pick up right now. Do they think a storm is coming? What's going on? Something is causing these fish to wake up right now. He wrapped me up. Doesn't seem like that big of a fish, but he's got me wrapped up. Yep, he did just wrap me up. Dang it. He's got me right on the head of that lily leaf. Dang, nabbit. No seams are biting now too. Son of a gun. I had that fish too. He just pinned me on that lily. Oh man. That one, he wasn't that big, but he felt good. He had the spirit. He had the spirit. This is so much fun. This is so much fun. Now where's the snakehead? Where is my snakehead? I say it in my videos, and I've had people comment recently, you know, the common places that to go. My anti-reverse broke. I have no anti-reverse left on this reel. What a piece of crap. That's annoying. That's very annoying. I'm gonna have to switch over to my other spinning rod. I can't have a rod doing that to me. Yep. Gonna switch over. It's loud, it's throwing a wake. Yeah, that's a good one. Nice fresh goat. Fresh goat is the play. A lamb kebab might sound pretty good right about now too. I haven't had a proper kebab in a minute. I've gotten some of the, the local restaurants, but I'm talking like a real kebab. Man, that's all I'm going to be thinking about for the next hour. I'm not against making a fish kebab, but I don't know how well bass would hold up. Snakehead would probably hold up pretty well. But I'm also not going to be eating a bass out of this river. I mean, not the health of the ones that I've seen today. I'm kind of concerned about that. The water's been hot as hell. They might be under like a lot of extra stress. I don't know. Like the water has gotten into the 90s not too long ago. Surface temps anyway. That was a good chase down. That's a snake. About dang time. About dang time. I knew it from the way it chased it down and gobbled it. That was a snakehead. All right, got my snake today. Finally. Freaking finally. Whew, doggy. Good sized fish. That's a fat one. All right. Nope. All right, well, here we go. Gotta do the grip and grin. That's a healthy fish right there. That's a real healthy fish. Beautiful pattern. Love the pattern on these things. That's a healthy one. Oh, it's mid-20s, I think. And I just spooked one right here. Are you kidding me? I just spooked one right here. Oh, slimy. Super slimy, but healthy. Sharp teeth. This one's definitely a female. She's loaded with eggs. So she's going back in. Naysayers be damned. I want this species to thrive. She's a pretty one. She is so pretty. All right, pretty girl, it's time for you to go. Thank you very much for the fight. And I will be catching more of y'all today. Bye-bye, baby. Where'd she go? She went behind me. All right, snakehead mission of the day accomplished. Heck yeah. Let's do it again. After a technical difficulty, I was hooked in the sleeve that's on my power cord for my trolling motor. So I spooked another one that was literally right next to me. Darn it. Let's get another one. Let's get another one. And that was your textbook snakehead takedown. Chase it, wake in on it, blow it up. Textbook. And with all the bow fishing pressure in here, there's still some fishies. Still a couple gorgeous snakes to catch. That was a pretty one. She was all colored up. That was a perfect, oh, just spooked one away from there. That was a perfect eater size too. But nobody's made the request of me, and I didn't bring the cooler with me today anyway, so not keeping any. Oh yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Keep pressure, keep pressure. That's a snake, that's a snake, that's a snake. Little guy. Skied him right in, and I blew up his eye. I hate wounding him. I really do. Somebody already tried to kill him. Somebody hit him in the head with a hammer. Right there. See that? Yeah, I might have taken his eye, but he's already survived somebody trying to kill him and throw him back. That's the kind of crap that I can't stand. A beautiful, healthy little snakehead. I left my stringer in the car. I don't like letting him go wounded. Yeah, he might be a sandwich. He might be turning into a sandwich or some tacos. I don't like. I mean, he's a survivor. I hate to do this, but I don't let him go wounded like that. And yeah. Did he just? He just broke his jaw. All right, somehow, some way, this fish is coming home with me. I could have let him go with one eye, but I'm not letting him go with a broken jaw. Sorry, buddy. You're coming home with me. We'll find a way to get you home. I'm not leaving you wounded. If you hadn't done that just now, I would have let you go. Oh, crap. Yep, they never came undone because his jaw was broken. He just slipped off. I had just cut his gills. Son of a... I hate that. That really makes me mad at myself. His jaw was broken, so he just slipped right out. There was nothing. Clamps never came undone. He didn't stretch them because, I mean, I can't stretch those. When I got that clamp down, you need full force to get that, and it just didn't move. Well, he won't be around much longer, and he'll meet Camille for a snapping turtle or something. Maybe the crawdads will have it, but I don't like that. I'm not happy about that at all right now. I'm very mad. You gotta respect these creatures, unlike the person that bonked that guy on the head and then let it go again, thinking it killed it. Fortunately, better or worse, I know I killed that snakehead. I cut both sides of his gills. He got me too. So that fish is gonna pass. He was bleeding good when I let him go. That's really unfortunate. I try to be as ethical as I can, y'all know that. I try and be as conscientious of the game, you know, whether I'm hunting or fishing, you know, everything, you know it. You guys have seen it in my videos. That really disappoints me. I'm not happy about that. Anyway, I'm gonna gather my thoughts for a few minutes, take a big old swig of water, and we'll be back to catch some more. Just a moment. Swiggity swag, the drink is completed. Or swaggity swig. Yeah, it was a swaggity swig. Unfortunately, I think that soured my mood for the rest of the day, but I'm gonna do my best to find a reason to smile again. I'm very disappointed whenever a wounded animal gets away. I got my little hammer in my dry box there. I was gonna give him a solid bonk after I cut his gills. Should have bonked him again first, but apparently his head's hard enough to withstand that. I probably would have lived through that one. But that's also, let's not forget that illustrates exactly what I've been talking about. If you're gonna kill something, if you're gonna go through the effort to kill something, use it, eat it. I don't care if you turn it into fertilizer or give it to the cat. Don't kill something just for the sake of killing it and throw it back, because that animal was probably wounded for weeks before it recovered. That's ignorant, and you can 100% blame the news, blame the media, blame all the overhyped hatred of these fish on that right there. And you can blame ignorant people, because that's just an ignorant move. You know, harming something with zero intention of processing it and using that as food or anything else. I don't care if you use them for crab bait, you know, just use them for something. I mean, those of y'all who've gone fishing with me, you guys know just how passionate I am about this. Because what you do when you do that is you take something else, you take an opportunity away from somebody else. You know, and it's wrong. And that fish was caught. I guarantee that fish was caught instead of stunned up or netted or anything else, because it was hit, you know, it was bonked. That was a deliberate action, bonking that fish. That sounds like a Huey. That's definitely a Bell helicopter of some variety. Nope, probably not gonna see it. Why did I just get chitty chitty bang bang stuck in my head? I mean, there's worse things to get stuck in your head. At least that's cheerful. But don't know why. Or was it because I kept saying the word bonk and now bang bang stuck in my head? I don't know. That's what I'm going with. The brain works in mysterious ways. Good sized bass. That's the best bass of the day. It's a good fish. It's a real good fish. Oh, come here. That's a good fish. That's a real good fish. All right. So I'm gonna slurp it, and then I waited in case it was a snakehead. Good fish. Let's see what she'll do. 17 and a half. Oh, nope. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. I'm gonna put you on grips. Stop it. This one is lively. Alright, fishy, you are the prettiest, healthiest bass of the day. Probably about 3 pounds. Pretty girl, thank you very much for the fight. You are raring to go, aren't you? All you gotta do is kick off. Made it, baby. Thank you. Thanks for the fight. That was fun. That's 8 bass and 2 snakeheads, and then 1 missed snakehead from earlier. All right, let's keep it going. Let's see if I can get a tenner for the day. If I can get a tenner for the day, I'll call it a win. I'll call, well, who am I kidding? I'm already calling today a win. That was a good fish just there. On the goat. Well, yeah, I usually don't put bass on grips. Not saying I can't, but I usually don't. But that one was lively. She just wanted to get back into the water. Something rooting around at the base of that lily, knocking it hither and yon. Yeah, it came out of this stuff right here. It was probably belly down on these hydrilla. Not gonna be fun paddling back into that wind. That's coming from exactly the direction I need to go. There's something over there. His tail swishing out of the water, everything. I'm gonna get over there and try and see what I can get. Because it looked good sized, whatever it was. Right there, you can see the disturbance on the surface there. That's a tail. What kind of tail is that? Is that a carp? Whatever it is, it was a good sized tail. Fish tore my thumb up. You can see its tail coming out of the water there. That's got to be a big old carp. Whatever it is, he's interested in something down there. Might have to roll this bait over. Yeah, I think I got to do that. Yeah, they say you can catch tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of fish on these things, but I'm usually, 5, 6 fish on one of these. They won't stay put. I save them. I don't throw them away, but I save them to use as like trailers for spinnerbaits, chatterbaits, stuff like that. Because they do have a finite life when you're using them for this particular application. And now the fish get to see something different. I think because it's constantly getting pulled and bumped and jostled by all these lily stems is what causes it to not hold up as well as it might in another way of fishing it. I got a love-hate relationship with TPE material, I really do. It's durable. I love the fact that it floats without any extra flotation. But if you want to Texas rig it, you can't have anything that has like a screw lock in the nose. That fish came out of the water for that. Dinker of the day right there. Little baby dinker. That's maybe a 10-inch fish. He's super optimistic. He came out of the water for that. Thanks, buddy. Have yourself a good one. He wanted it. That was awesome. He smacked the tar out of it. That's my tenor. It's not a big tenor, but that was my tenor. My 10th fish of the day. That'll make a vidya. It's been an amazing day. I mean, I really wish it had stayed overcast like it was supposed to, but the fish are still participating, even with the bright sunny skies. Now this is mostly cloudy at best. All right, let's move down the bench a little bit. We'll see what we can see. That's probably going to take me 2 hours to get back to the launch. It's going to be a long 2 hours. I'm going to sleep like a baby tonight. Worth it though, 100% worth it. That tide's definitely dropping, so if I want to go, I better go. You know, every time I come here, I'm surprised about what I see. You know, pleasantly surprised. Just a beautiful area. I mean, there's eagles, there's ospreys, there's fish, there's all kinds of wildlife. I got that little cardinal feather in my box here. That was a cool little extra find today. But yeah, solid day. The time is now, you know, 2 o'clock. I got here about 8, so 6 hours. You know, that's a solid ratio. You know, 10 fish in plus what, 3 misses, I think. In 6 hours is pretty solid. I'll take it. I will take it. You know, I fish about every half hour or so. This little stretch right here is definitely, excuse me, definitely the top notch of the day. Just all kinds of fish. Still, what I was expecting in terms of ratio. You know, 8 bass, 2 snakeheads, and very chatty osprey right there. That really is what I was expecting, because there's so much pressure directly on the snakeheads here, and as you unfortunately saw on that one that got away, that people will just go ahead and kill them for the sake of killing them. They're not hurting anything, clearly. I mean, if there were more snakeheads around, there'd be more fry for everything else to eat if people would just put the damn snakeheads back. They're not hurting a dang thing over here at all. Not whatsoever. Because the snakeheads were perfectly healthy. The bass, for some reason, I don't know if they were more stressed. That does make sense. The hot water does put stress on largemouth. I don't know what genetic strain of largemouth bass lives down here, or I should say lives over here in this part of Maryland, but it's right off the Potomac River, so whatever lives in the Potomac River lives here. The snakeheads can adapt to excuse me, can adapt to adverse conditions a lot better. Low oxygen content, because they breathe air. They can handle hotter water temperatures and, you know, nastier water conditions, to be perfectly honest, a lot better than pretty much anything else out there. So those stress had sores and stuff on them. They were probably all stressed except for like 2 of the fish I caught today. 2 of the fish I caught today were super healthy, and I do like seeing that. They were in good shape. But other than that, you know, it was a good day. I'm disappointed that I lost that one, but it's already dead. I know it is, because I cut all the gills before it flopped off. And I only made the decision to cut its gills after it broke its jaw. And because it broke its jaw, I was able to get off my grips. The grips never opened, like I showed you. The grips never opened. The fish just was able to slip out because there was nothing holding its jaw together. But yeah, I'm still disappointed at that. But it was still a great day. You know, 10 fish on the day, 8 bass, 2 snakeheads. You know, good ratio. Not an ideal ratio for me, but it's still a good ratio. There's still plenty of bass in the Potomac River. Excuse me, plenty of largemouth bass. You get above Great Falls, you start seeing a lot more smallmouth, which of course is what's in my wheelhouse. I love the smallies more than I like the largemouth bass. But I'll still take the fight. I'll take the hit. They're welcome on the end of my line anytime. Sorry, I just keep looking over here. It's a gorgeous expanse I just came through. And when I say hundreds of acres of pads, most of them are dead right now, as you can see behind me, but I've paddled through hundreds of acres of pads. You know, I got a nice gnarly thumb right now, a proper bass thumb. So I've had a good day. But it's probably gonna take me 2 hours. Excuse me. But it's probably gonna take me about 2 hours to paddle back to the launch against this headwind. Yeah, man, the wind is blowing my beard all over the place. But that's kind of all I got for you today. So like I always say, thanks again for watching. Make sure you find a reason to smile today. I know I did. And I'll catch you in the next one.